Should we proceed, sir?
Yes, I think we can start the proceedings today.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay. Shashwat?
Okay, Shushanto.
Shashwata, very good morning.
Good morning, Indranil sir. How are you?
I am fine, Shashwata.
Okay, so may I proceed, sir?
Please do.
Okay, sir. A very good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of the School of Natural, Applied and Social Sciences, the Language Laboratory, and the Center of Linguistics of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, University of Technology, we warmly welcome you to the morning session of the fourth day of our FDP, which is titled The Art and Craft of Scientific and Technical Writing from A to Almost Z, which we are conducting in association with the Islamic University of Science and Technology, Jammu and Kashmir. Before we move into the session, I would like to introduce our panelists for the day. We have the chairman of the FDP, Professor Dr. Shukhendu Shamazdar, who is the director of the School of Natural, Applied and Social Sciences. The convener of the FDP, Dr. Shankar Prasad Mondal, assistant professor in the Department of Applied Sciences. Dr. Indranil Mukherjee, Director of the School of Management Sciences and member of the Advisory Council. Dr. Dhanbal Kumar Swamy, the Director of the Glorious Phyto Labs and member of the Advisory Council. Dr. Arijit Bagh, Associate Professor in the Department of Applied Sciences and member of the Advisory Council. Mr. Sujoy Mitra, Joint Coordinator of the FDP and faculty member in the Department of Forensic Sciences. Mr. Shushanto Koyal, Joint Coordinator and faculty member of the Center of Linguistics. And I am your moderator for the session, Shashwata Sengupta, Assistant Professor in the Center of Linguistics. Now I would like to request my colleague, Mr. Shushanto Koyal, to take over. Shushanto,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you, Shashwata. Now, before we proceed, I want to share some of the information about our program. Now, in the month of August 2020, we had a similar kind of faculty development program organized by the School of Management Sciences, and it was titled Advanced Research Techniques. Now, we take the privilege to consider our faculty development program as one of the sequel or the proceeding of that FDP. So we can consider our FDP as the second version of that first FDP conducted by the School of Management Sciences. And it was conducted by Professor Sujit Mukherjee sir from the School of Management Sciences. And in this session, in this day 4 morning session, we have with us our respected Professor Dr. Indranil Mukherjee sir, the director of the School of Management Sciences and the member of the Advisory Council of our FDP titled Technical and Scientific Writing with us. Now I would request Dr. Mukherjee to say a few words and to introduce today's session. Over to you, Indranil sir.
First of all, thanks to my young colleague, Shushanto Koyal. Shushanto, Shashwato and the team have been doing a fabulous job of helping all of us to set up this faculty development program. I think it's a unique initiative. Shushanto said it is a kind of a sequel to the one which we had conducted earlier. Yes, that is true. But this has a very, very special favor. I mean, long back, somebody had told me, and somebody who had done his undergraduate studies in University of California at Berkeley, and that gentleman, he was a veteran of the Silicon Valley. He had told me, and that at that time I was pretty young, that you see, most of your life will be spending in kind of documentation. So you should be very, very fluent in writing, technical writing, in technical communication, of course, in verbal communication, but others. And one of the reasons why, I mean, these days it is very, very important when we write research papers and they do not get accepted is because of the lack of proper communication in the technical writing. You can put in a lot of formulas, you can put in a lot of results, charts, graphs, but then remember, we have to remember and understand that these are usually tools and we need to report something tangible in a manner which is transparent and lucid to the audience, including the reviewers. And the same, of course, is true for the research projects that one writes as a precondition to getting the research grant and with which to spin out further research papers. So I think this is a very, very important initiative. And coupled with that is the fact that we have Professor Rohini Datta here today. She's from IIT Kanpur and she heads the bioincubator facility over there. And our university, MAKAUT, in its earlier avatar, WBUT, or West Bengal University of Technology, was one of the premier institutes, one of the first institutes to set up a technology business incubation center called the ECTA Incubation Center. And we are indeed very, very proud of that. And it was set up by the then Vice Chancellor, Professor Ashok Ranjan Thakur, at his initiative, and several other teachers and associates, officers, they are pitched in with their efforts. So this is the right platform that we have a very, very important eminent personality heading the bioincubator facility at the most premier institute in India, IIT Kanpur, with us. And we have also some background in that direction. So I think if we can synergistically put in our efforts, it could lead to some very, very great and tangible results. So that is from my side, and I am absolutely confident that all the attendees today will be left with a lot on their table at the end of this session. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'm giving it back to Sushant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for such illuminating words and encouraging words for us. Now, I would hand over the mic to Mr. Sengupta for a second time. Mr. Sengupta, please take it over from here.
Thank you, Mr. Koyal. Thank you, Indranil sir, for the inspiring words that you have said to us. It always feels very nice to be appreciated, and we will definitely do our best. Now, I'll just give a little introduction to today's session. This session, which is titled Crafting Compelling Project Proposals, Tricks of the Trade that will win you the grant, will be chaired by Dr. Rohini Datta. Now, I would like to request Dr. Dhanbal Kumaraswamy, the director at the Glorious Phyto Labs, to introduce our speaker and the topic. Dr. Kumaraswamy, if you'll please take over.
Thank you, Saswata. And it's my privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Rohini Datta, our first session speaker. And it's also very special for me because ma'am is Dr. Datta is my guide. And also, as in the first session, we have ma'am got her PhD done. Dr. Datta completed her PhD from Indian Institute of Statistical Institute at Kolkata in 2003. Thereafter, visiting scientist and scholar in the same institute, and women scientist from 2014 to 15 at IIT Kanpur. Then now presently, ma'am is implementing, Dr. Datta is implementing Agri-Tech India project for first time in the country. It has been launched by her in IIT Kanpur in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and also heading the PIRAX Seed Fund, that is Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development, and heading and guided a number of budding entrepreneurs like me, and still continue to do that, a guide in grant writing, and also a very good counselor and mentor, as in to add a personal note to the introduction to Dr. Rohini Datta. from 2018 onwards, from June, I have been constantly guided and counseled and directed by Professor Samasdar as well as with Dr. Rohini Datta Madam. As we face being entrepreneur, budding entrepreneur, writing grant is not that an easy task, and it needs a guide. As today's topic states that there is a tricks of trade in writing a compelling grant. I must say one trick is there: get a good mentor like Dr. Rohini Datta and Professor Samaj. So there is only one trick, that's to get a good mentor. And with these words, and welcoming Dr. Rohini Datta to take, and we are very interested and excited to hear your talk, ma'am. Please.
Thank you, Dhanwal. Thank you, Dr. Dhanwal. Thank you so much for praising me so much. I mean, I have done nothing. It's just your good and your, work which you did, and you received big. So we are all very happy for you, and I hope you will succeed in fulfilling all the milestones which were set under big. And so let's start today today's presentation. So I'll share my screen. So good morning, everyone. So today I will be mainly focusing on how to write a research grant, and not only that, how to write a grant for getting some money for your for commercial purpose. It's not only the research, but also I will be talking about the commercial aspect of writing a grant proposal. Because what I feel is that your research should not be confined only within your labs, within your institute, or within your college. It should go away forward in developing further into a solution or a product. So what happens usually, we do a research, we find something, we publish papers, and that's it. A stop of everything. And with that publications, you get your promotions, you get your postdocs, you get finish your PhD. But what about the the data, the prototype, the solution which you after so much of hard work you managed to create? I mean, you should get used to you should make it a good use of that. Either you can first see about the market, whether you can commercialize that thing. You can apply for some patent, and you can transfer your technology to some other person, to some other bodies which are there. So that is the reason I will be saying both the things. Like, I will be covering both the parts, to write funds for research purpose and also for commercial grants. So again, just like my previous talk, I think the first thing we should always think, why are you writing this proposal? What is the reason? Is it to pursue your PhD, or is to establish yourself as a researcher? Most of the faculties, they get grants to establish themselves as a researcher. You're already an established researcher, and to gain more insight about your research area, to publish quality research papers out of the project, or you want to commercialize your prototype or solution. So this is the reason, this is the why which should be there when you see or come across any grant in any site, in any or you get this information from your mentor, from your colleagues, from any website, or even nowadays in television, you can even get these type of information that 100 crores. Just some time back, there was an announcement from Prime Minister that so many such and such amount of money was will be there for agriculture to boost the agriculture of India. Now, what is the impact of that? We will get a lot of programs related to agriculture, from out of which there will be several grants, and those grants will be related to agriculture, specific to some particular type of domain in agriculture. And then from there we have to select startups who will be impacting the marginal farmers, the farmers who have very little land, and they somehow survive throughout the year with very little income. So they are called marginal farmers. So the second step is you have to first identify your own resources, whether for commercial funding or for research funding. See, this is my belief that if you don't have an interest in something, please don't go ahead. Please stop there just to impress your superior, your professors, your head of the department, or your mentor or advisor. Don't go ahead. Interest is very, very important, because it is directly related to your mental ability to perform that or that work, or to search for that work, or to write, or to work in that direction. Otherwise, please don't go ahead. Second thing is the time management. This is a very important aspect of writing funding is always associated with a particular time period. It may be 3 years, it may be 2 years, or it may be just a 1 year evaluation funding for to evaluate a baseline data which was there, and then the inline data you received from the government, and this you have to see what is the impact analysis. You have to do some impact analysis. It can be that also. And the resources. For writing a fund, you should understand whether you have a proper lab, equipment, manpower, etc. The whole ecosystem, whether you have that or not in your place. So otherwise, it's if you write a grant, it's of no use if you can't work on it. Then, for commercial purpose, you should first try to be sure what is your stage, whether you are in the idea stage. This is called TRL. TRL means technology readiness level. These are the different stages of different types of technology of different stages. The stages starts with your idea. What is your idea? Then you form the prototype, and then you go for the commercialization. And then when you enter in the market, you need more money to manufacture your product. So there are different stages. So this is called a technology readiness level. It is a type of measurement to assess the maturity level of a particular technology, solution, whatever you are making. And each technology project is evaluated against the parameters for each level, technology level. So when we evaluate applications, we see that what type of funding they have applied for. Same thing for the research grant. What type of funding they have applied for? See, there are such certain grants which are very much applicable to for the PhD students or very junior faculties. But for senior faculties who are already established researcher, there may be some grants like the Wellcome Trust Fellowship, which are for the senior level. There are other related to other grants which are at a more matured stage, where you already are an established researcher, and now you want to further take your research ahead with more in-depth study and go to the next level. Similarly, for the commercial funding also, we have different criteria. I will show you after some time, like how we give marks to each applications. So then we rate the application based on the project's progress. So this is called technology readiness level or TRL level. You can get more information from this reference which I have given here in this slide. Then comes the source of funding. So it's not just you see an advertisement and you just go and start writing a funding. You should see from where the funding is coming. Is it a government funding or a private funding? If it is a government funding, so the definition of funding is also I have given you, but it's just a grant application which is just structured. It may be a structured form Means each and everything will be given in that application, like introduction, your name, your detail, and then what is your education qualification, and then your introduction, that should be within 250 words. Then you go to the next layer, part of your application, which is again your objective. It should be 120 words. You know, it's a totally structured application form. Sometimes it may not be a structured application form. There will be only the heading, the subtitles, or the slides will be given to you with proper headings, and you have to just write down and neat. Then you have to plan, like what the grantors needs for the grant program. You have to plan accordingly and write and put the same thing in the application. And the structure of the application, each and every section should be responded well, very, very well. You should think very well how to respond it. What is the thing? What are the things you are doing, and what is the outcome? Outcome is very important. The outcome is the main thing which a funder wants. Like, I'm giving you money for what? For getting this result. I want this vaccine. I want this type of behavioral change in a community. I want this type of results to come out from your equipment, from your experiments. I want this type of some sort of drug delivery. In case of drug delivery, I need this type of drug to combat this type of disease. I mean, these are the things which are the outcome, which is very, very important while you write an application for funding. You have to first think what is the outcome, and then accordingly you have to think how you should proceed, what are the things you need for that, and each section should be written very, very carefully. Then investigate. First, you have to say who is the funder. Who is the funder? What are the current trends? Whom are they funding now? What are the current limitations and restrictions? What subject areas were awarded funding recently? So these are the things you immediately see. Nowadays, everything is available in the net. You just go, you Google, you write the name of the funder, go to their site, and you find each and every detail of the funders. What are their future plans for the funders? Who are the decision makers? As I said, that this is very important. You see, who are the evaluators? Who are the evaluators? See, we people, like, whenever we evaluate applications, we all have a different background in our department. Similarly, in every department, funding department, they have a group of experts who have different backgrounds, and each of them have a definite role in assessing your application. You just don't think, okay, it's this application is only related to some mechanical or technical problem. It is not like that. If it is a technical problem, then how it is solved, what is the problem they are solving, and whether it has any equipment, requirement of any equipment. If yes, then how are they going to procure it? Is the fund sufficient to procure that equipment? Then there will be someone who will be assessing the method, what methods you are using to do the experiments. There will be other people who will be looking into your calculations, the results, whether your plan for getting that results, which will be reflected in your objectives, is going with your title of the research or not. And who are so they are the decision makers basically for your application. And then what are the review processes they follow? So Dhanwal can tell you very well how he went through the big application process. It's a huge process. We get the application. So I give you an example of big. I think that will help you to understand. First, the application call is out. There is a open of application date, and there is a close of application date. Within that date, you have to fill up your application online. Then the application comes to the reviewers. The first round of review will just assess whether you're eligible or not. There are eligible criteria. I'll come to that. So then the other search, I will come to that. The other things which you should search before writing a grant application are what are the deadlines. That is very important. Please don't wait for the last day of submission. That is a big blunder, I tell you. Don't wait for the last day for submission of your application. One, nowadays most of the applications are online submission, and last day most of the people will be submitting, and there will be a problem of internet issues. You cannot submit properly, or it may not be submitted, or the files may not be uploaded properly. So these are the common problems which you come across if you are going to submit, if you have plans for submitting in the last day of your application. Then you yourself, you should think that how long will the process take, what is the proper way to approach them, how many people apply each year, that everything, all these things you will get through their website. How many people got this grant during 2018, then in 2019, who all got this grant, and what are their usual background, what are their topics, on what domain of their research did they get these types of grants. And then go through the previous awardees topics and details. This is very important, because then you will understand, okay, this is the trend of this funding agency. They are mostly giving funds to these people who are working in education, or who are working in a certain domain of your subject. So you are clear now. Okay, so these are the things which are needed, and this is my idea, so I will apply in this way. Then eligibility criteria, that's what I was telling you. So you should first see whether you are eligible or not. There will be one thing where you should be Indian citizen, your education, you should be at least a graduate to apply for this funding, or anything, whatever it is. There may be age criteria. For case of startups, there may be many other things like what is your shareholding pattern, you should be an Indian citizen. Then there are certain other things which are there for the startups. Then requirements for applying, like domain, subdomain. Then you have to think, what are the capabilities, ecosystem and collaboration. Be very, very careful about ecosystem and collaborations. Ecosystem means all around you, what are the available resources you have, so that you can carry on your work for which you are getting the grant. And collaborations, if you don't have a doctor in your team, but you are an engineer, and you are developing some sort of prototypes which is related to medicine, collaborate with a doctor anywhere in another city or in the same city. So these collaborations, we always see the team. The team has a different we give marks for team. We have different subdivisions of markings, which I'll show you in the subsequent slides. Who is in your team, who is your advisor, and who are who are you in collaborations. Is it a very good medical medical college? Who are your senior professors, who are your advisors? So these will make your application very, very strong. So specific to domain mentioned in the objectives of the program and the call for the proposal. So you should be applying for a particular type of funding. Then the proposal summary. The first part is the summary. When you open up application form, after your individual introduction like age, qualification, etc., etc., then you come, the first thing which comes is the summary. Summary is a standalone thing of the entire proposal. It should be very catchy and interesting, and a little data should be given there, that previously we worked and you found this, and this is the thing which you are proposing. Then the introduction. This is another important thing, where you are associated with. You are associated with a institute, with a college, a place in your where you are working. And then what are the achievements of your college or institute? That is very important, respective to that domain for which you are applying. For example, you are applying for some social work, say education. So what are the work your institute have done on education? What are the work your institute have done on some technical aspect of any any sort of say drug delivery, or say any sort of engineering related domain. So what are the achievements? What are the what are the things which you have added to the existing literature? What new research emerged out from your institute? So these are the things which will make your application very strong. Then the favorable ecosystem, you will say that our institute is in collaboration with this medical college, our institute is in collaboration with MIT or somewhere else, and then we have regular faculty exchange programs, and they are always mentoring us, and uh, in view with this application, the funding application with this domain, we have these are the advantages. So this should go in the introduction about your institute and its eminence and its the value, the institute's previous work on that particular type of subject or subdomain. Then this is I have given you a sample application. So this is a high application form usually you find when you fill up an online application. So application title, and then all those things, proposed start date, like you will propose a start date, then name of the administration organization, application's name, all these are introductory things. And then you research funding area, what is your area, and then you start writing. You see, each box there is a word limit, so you can understand within that 300 word you have to write specifically what you want in that aspect. Describe how the fellowship will further increase your research or career aspirations. You understand how definitely how specific they ask. I mean, these are for very good funding agencies. This is for welcome trust funding application form. This is a welcome trust application form which I have given shown to you. So these are if it is a good funding agency, they will be asking you so many things with specific answers and with limited word limit. There will be a word limit. What scientific consideration led you to choose this research environment and sponsor? You know what scientific consideration means. You will write that my background is this, and I worked for about 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and my previous work was on this subject, and I found this, and these are some of my data. Very briefly, in a very short way, you have to write you have to fill each and every part of the application form. This is very important because these good funding agencies, they will go through each and every of your application form. Then for the introduction part, you have to write a statement for the problem and summary of the current development in the field. And these are the things which you should do. Go through the literature survey, do a literature survey just like your research design, or a market survey for people who wants to have their own startup and commercialize their product. And then what are the new things you need to add in this field? So this is very important. This is very, very important. Some funding agencies, they will always look for new ideas, idea which is not there, which was never found anywhere, or they didn't come across that type of idea previously, and they are seeing it for the first time, and which has a huge impact on maybe population, maybe on the development of a certain thing, or to a particular type of industry. Then indication of the extent to which the research builds on previous work, like previously people work on this and what new you are adding to it. And in certain cases, assurance that you are aware of the existing work, and then you are adding something new. And for commercial purpose, extensive market research is required. Like you don't have to make something which is already there in the market. Means you found something, some solution or prototype which is already there in the market. This is a very common problem for people who are into startup world. I mean, the thing exists in the market. They never do any market research, and they just come out with to us with another education app. This is a common thing which you receive. Every month we have an incubation meeting in our department, and every time now that the education is online in every school, so many apps are coming to us. This is this app, this is that app, we want to develop this, we want to, almost all of them are similar. Something different, something innovative, something disruptive, which is not there in the market, that will earn you the grant. So this you should keep in your mind. Then the implementation part also we have to see. You have to provide a clear and detailed description of how the proposal will be implemented. It's just not writing. It has, the proposal should have a feasibility of the, like how you will be implementing your thoughts or the objectives which you are thinking to work for this proposal. Include evidence of how the proposal will achieve the money, such as a link between proposed outcome or projected deliverables, and how it is going to benefit the community or the target group, or maybe it can be an industry, and the amount of the funding you are asking for. And this can be done by again constructing a conceptual framework. This I described in my last talk, that conceptual framework is very important, because that gives you a idea how you will proceed, and if anything goes wrong, then again you come back to your conceptual framework and see where is the place, or what did I do wrong here. So again, that same thing, the conceptual framework. So for writing a research design and writing for funding, these are very common things which you should always keep in mind. What are the exposure variable? What will be the outcome or deliverable in case of grant applications? And what are the confounders? What are the factors which will be affecting both these exposure variable and outcome? Then you form your objective. So that objectives should be in align with the outcome of the grant. Any grant application will have their objectives, their domains mentioned in their application, in their advertisement, in their call for application. You have to align your objectives according to those asked for from the grantors. Like, does the proposal address a well formulated problem which should align with the advertisement, with the call for application? It is, you should be very careful about what are the subjects, what are the objectives of the call for application. Based on that only you should apply for your grant. Is it a research problem or just a routine application of a known technique? Is it an important problem whose solution will have useful effects? And is special funding necessary to solve the problem or to solve it quickly enough? So these are the things you should keep in your mind before writing an objective. So then the most important thing, as done in the research design, what new it will add to the existing literature and previous researches. You already went through the the funding agency's website, and you already saw what are the grants they already received in the previous years. You already know the domains, the things which they the subjects or the areas where they usually got grants, but received different type of grants. But when you see when you are writing your grant, you should add something new which were not done before. And in case for excuse me, for commercialization, you should always think how your technology is novel and disruptive in the market. It should be a novel and disruptive. Otherwise, the product will not go, or you cannot earn any revenue out of that product. Then the methods. Again, the same thing which I see. There are some common slides which I already explained in my first talk. Again, the same thing will come here also for writing funding. Also for carrying out your proposal, you have to use some sort of methods. The method should be applied. What method should be applied, and to apply your to achieve your aims. The methodology must be described in detail and clearly related to the research questions, and whether these methods are sufficient to answer and to produce a clear answers, And what is the timeline? This is very important. This should be a realistic timeline. You just think of something and arbitrarily you write 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. That will not do. You should think very well how you, especially for those who are in the bio field or do some research work, biochemical work, or experimental work. You need a lot of time. Lot of time to carry a single chain of equation, single chain of experiment. You need time. So be very careful, very careful about deciding your timeline. Timeline will be always there in any funding application. Budget and timeline, these two things are always there in your application form. Then why and how you have to think. What should be the nature of the study, when or what period of time, that I already explained to you. What is the period of time you will be taking the data, provide them the timeline, how much material I should use, or how many cases will be there. That is a sampling, a procedure. What basis of selection I should use, and what techniques of gathering data should be adopted. Then the nature of the study, after the study, whether it should be a qualitative or quantitative study, or both the studies together, that is a mixed study, or it will be an experimental study, or a combination of the both. So these are same things which I already explained to in my previous talk. So these are also the basis for writing a grant. These are the methodology, the tools you will be using to grade your outcome. Now, again, the period of the study, whether it is a cross-sectional, seasonal, or cohort or longitudinal study, and how much material, that is a sampling procedure, whether randomly you will be selecting your samples, whether systematically you will be selecting your samples, whether statistically you will be selecting cluster sampling, area sampling, or these are the different types of sampling, what type of sampling you need to select your cases. And extensive review required to frame the conceptual framework of your research. Then how are you going to gather the data, whether by doing simple experiments, case study, questionnaires and schedules, interviews, or observations. So then again, the same thing, validation of your tools and referred tools from previous studies, experiments, referred widely, should be appropriate for the stated objectives to achieve the outcome, should be widely used tool, if introduced for the requirement of the study, should be validated, difference between observation and interview, intra and inter error, any technical errors. See, same thing as in research design, the same thing will come for grant applications. Right? Before writing, even during writing grant application, this should be clear in your mind. What should be the methods? What are the tools? How are the tools will be measured? How are the tools applied? How many cases are to be taken into account? That is sampling. At what time period you will be taking your, you will be studying the cases or doing your experiments, and what will be the statistical analysis. So even during writing any grants, these things are very often asked in your grant application. Then the ethical issues. This is very important. If you are dealing with any human beings, there will be ethical issues which are usually cleared by the institute's ethical committee. Every institute have their own ethical committee. If not, you can go to any institute which has an ethical committee, and then you get your you have to give a presentation there about what you are going to do. You have a form where you have to fill who are your cases, what are you doing, and then you get a ethical clearance. If it is a medical related work, then you have to go through medical ethics committee, and then you get an approval. Sometimes the funding agency asks for this ethical clearance even before presenting the final presentation at the last stage, because there are different stages of evaluation, then monitoring and evaluating the project. So it should run according to your conceptual framework and the objective of the project. So now the evaluator's perspectives. So what the evaluators do, like I was explaining to you about the big application, which I didn't proceed further. So initially, after you submit the application online, what we do, initial screening, whether that's called the eligibility test, whether the person is have given all the detail of their education, even the PAN card number, everything is asked in that initial application form. Their detail of their company detail. If he's applying as an individual, the person's individual education qualification, their institute where they are going to do their experiments and everything. That is the initial check. After we go through the initial check, then we go to the second round where what we do, we send this present these applications in front of respective experts. Like if a application has come from a mechanical engineer and he is pursuing something on that some domain of that subject, we will call some mechanical engineer expert specific or whose research interest in say thermal heating or doing something with solar energy or something like that. We will call that specific person. He will assess that application and he will say yes, you can go through, he can go through the next round. So you see how what are the steps we follow for evaluating each and every applications. Then it goes to the next step. Next step is sending the application to another evaluator outside the institute. That person will give marks, and then the final presentation of the person will be there, where the experts from different domains will be present, and domain specific presentations will be there, and then the final round of selection will be there. That is the fourth round at the funders headquarters. So you see how rigorous evaluation process is. This I am saying about a grant of 50 lakhs. There are several grants, there are different types of grants, different types of committee, different types of evaluation procedure, but the basic things are always the same. That is whether your objectives are in align with the objectives of the funding call for application, whether your deliverables can be done within a particular time frame, whether your asks, your budgets, like you want equipment, you want consumables, are relevant to your objectives, and your money is saying that okay, you are asking for this much amount, which is okay for that, and the tools which you are using to get the outcome of the proposal is it can do that, and you get the outcome which is needed for out of the study, where the proper tools are used or not. Then we have a marking schemes for each and every funding program. So what we usually see, do the proposers have a good idea on which to base their work? Does the proposal explain clearly what work will be done? See, this is very important. This is very, very important. So I'll share my experience with you. We receive applications which has everything, A to Z, everything they want to do within 2 years, within a month of 18 months. Is it possible? You cannot do that. You have to be specific about what you are doing in a limited time period, and that what you are doing should be very, very unique, novel. So this should be the main objective of your proposal. It's not like you want to do this also, you want to do that also, you want to see all the properties of a certain type of prototype, or you want to develop something which is not feasible. Never do that. Always try to think of a simple thing which can be done, which is unique, which is novel, and then you start writing a grant application. Now, is there evidence that the proposals know about relevant work? That also we see when we see the introduction. We know that this person knows about his subject. Do the proposers have a good track record, both doing good research and publishing it? That is quite evident. If he has published, we will see and his record, and we see that these are the number of publications he has already done in his field, and what are the implications for policy and practice. It's not like a funder will never fund you without any policy implications. So there should be some policy implications, and how will this be taken up? So you give some results or some suggestions or some references for policies which is not feasible. So that will not work. The policy should be such that it will have a great impact to the maybe to the industry in case of engineering part, or maybe to in the lab itself for a further development of a particular type of subject or research, or for social science, it may have a great impact to the society or to a particular type of target population. So that implication for policy and to practice is very practicing it in future about the work which you, about the outcome which you can get out of your grant after finishing the grant is very, very important. Then what are the other things? What are the objectives? So what we usually see while we evaluate any application, like what are the objectives of the project? What will be the outcome? Does the proposal addresses a well-formulated problem? Is it a research problem or just a routine application of a known technique? This is very important. It is very, very important. Just not a routine thing. You shouldn't do that. Otherwise, grantors will immediately understand, okay, he is just replicating something. Then is it an important problem whose solution will have useful effects? Is special funding necessary to solve the problem or to solve it quickly enough? So then evaluators' perspectives and criteria. Do the proposers have a good idea on which to base their work? Does the proposal explain clearly what work will be done? This is very important. Don't mess up with your objective. Be very clear about what you exactly want to do and what is your outcome. Is there evidence that the proposers know about relevant work that others have done? That is very much evident from the introduction. Do the proposers have a good track record? Again, the same thing I'm repeating. What are the implications of the policy and practice? This is the same thing which I'm repeating again. So for funding, for commercial purpose. So these things which I told you is to write a grant both for commercial purpose and for research purpose. Now for commercial purpose, you have already developed something out of your out of your research work, and you want to commercialize it. Then there are different types of grants. So I give you the funding opportunities which are available in our department at IIT Kanpur. So you have fellowships for students, those who are PhD students, those who are MTech students, to develop their product or service or whatever they are doing. That can be up to 50 to 30 lakhs, 30,000 per month. So you develop something, then you want to develop the prototype. You have an idea, you don't know anything. It's just the idea in your head, and you get a fellowship, and then you develop that thing, and now you want to develop the prototype of your idea. There also you have some funding, that is a Prism Prayas, Nidhi Prayas, big, that is 50 lakhs, EIL, that is 20 lakhs. So these are the different fundings which we have in our department. Now you develop your product. Now you want to send your product to the market. What do you have? You have BIREC seed fund, you have SIC seed fund. So there you may get more than 30 lakhs or 20 lakhs of rupees so that your product can be sold in the market. Then scale up. For scaling up, what do you need? You need a factory, a manufacturing unit where you can manufacture and large scale your manufacturing of your product. There also we have funding up to 1 crore to 50 lakhs. So these are the common funding opportunities which are available in our department for commercializing your product. And now for funding to commercialize, you see This will be same for funding for research also. How we assess applications for early stage startups. Here for early stage startups, if for research design, it may be for a faculty who has just joined, or for a person who is a very initial stage of research. What do we see? What are the criteria? You see, technical feasibility, whether what he is suggesting is technically feasible or not. Look at the marks. It is 10 marks. Then novelty. How much novelty is? Potential impact. What is the impact? Commercialization strategy. Team. Who are there in the team? Barriers. There can be barriers while doing your project. And the overall plan of the project. So these are the marks for the markings for the early stage startup. But when you go for the late stage startups or for commercialization purpose, you see the numbers changes. Promoters, company, domain, the team, that counts for 20 marks. Novelty is now less, 15. Potential impact is 10. Commercialization strategy is 20. Validation is 25 here. Revenue generation, whether he's generating any money or not, that is 10. You see that these marks are also there. The way commercial funding, the funders in a commercialized way, for the startups they fund, they give, the evaluators similarly give you marks for giving grants also in the research for research purpose. So what are the favorable conditions? An applicant with existing funding may be favored due to evidence of good track record. Also, priority is given to new researchers in the field. Funders generally prefer to offer a reasonable balance of support for different research areas. Evidence of industrial interest or commercialization in the proposal and its potential for future exploitation will count in favor. Always remember this whenever you are applying for any grant. It's not just for publication. Keep this in mind. Of course, it will be published, but whatever you have found, whatever you have discovered, whatever you have done with the grantor's money should be used either in the form of some policy changes at the policy level, or for commercial interest, or for industrial interest. Then what can be a weakness of a funding proposal? The proposal is badly written or presented, or incomprehensive. The proposer seems to be attempting too much for the funding requested, and or for the time scale. The time line is something which is irrelevant. You cannot do that experiment in that short period of time, or a very long period of time. The proposal is too expensive for the probable gain, and the proposer's objectives are not clear or too many to make the reviewers understand the goal or outcome of the proposal. This all I already explained to you. Too many things you want to do at once. This are mainly I want to tell to the PhD students, because you are new and you are you have too many aspirations and ambitions in life. You want to do too many things at one time, at a very limited time. Please don't do so. It's very important for you all to understand that PhD is for a limited period of time. For that, within that time, you have to make your objectives very simple. You have your whole life to do research, any sort of research. After PhD, you can do postdoc. After you join somewhere, you can carry on your research. But during PhD, be very specific, with very good objectives and a good research design. Finish your things in time, and then after getting your doctorate degree, you do whatever you like. That is what I'm saying. Same thing for the early stage faculties. Objectives should be very clear to make the reviewers understand the goal of your outcome. Outcome, you find nothing, only you have written something which is quite confusing with too many things in it, will definitely that grant application will be rejected. There is no evidence that the proposers will succeed where others have failed. A new idea is claimed by insufficient technical details are given. Like you have very good application, but the technical details are lacking in the application grant. grant application, and the proposer seems unaware of the related research. So these are the weakness of the applicants. So I conclude by saying that you should become closely familiar with all the criteria related to the program for which a grant is being sought. Be a good project managers, know how to plan, lead, and deliver the projects. You have written, you got the grant, and then you are sitting in your office room. I'm mainly concerned about telling this to the faculties. You cannot do that. You should be after your projects. What is going on? What are the plans? Whether the conceptual framework or the research design which you framed or the objectives are being fulfilled or not. It cannot be done just by sitting in your own room and asking your students to follow up. You yourself have to follow up the whole thing. That is very important, because your students, they are quite inexperienced. You are more experienced, most experienced person in that project, and you will have to lead, manage, and deliver the project. That is your main goal. That should be your goal. Follow proper methodologies for project management success. Know your grantee. You should know your grantee. Who is your grantee? Understand their organization that is providing the funds. Understand their goals and align your proposal to them. Ensure that your idea or service is unique and not already funded by other government or private grants. Or is it? See, whenever we evaluate applications, we always see whether this idea has been asked. I mean, this type of grant, this person has already asked for similar type of grants and from some other grantors also, because we are all interconnected. We can easily get this information. Then ensure that the benefits generated from the grant are tangible, measurable, benefit a wide spectrum of your community, and are a good value for the money invested. So at the end, I would say that always remember, funding bodies look for good ideas. They are the investors for your ideas, whether it's a research idea or it's a commercial idea. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening lecture on how to compose a well laid out proposal. Now I would like to request the chairman of our FDP program and the director of the School of Natural, Applied and Social Sciences, Professor Dr. Shukhendu Samasdar, to please say something.
Thank you. Thank you, Shashwata. Thank you, Dr. Datta. I think let us open it for discussion, for interaction. Is that all right, Dr. Datta, for question, answer, and interaction with?
Yes.
Let us please, whoever have questions, you could raise your hands and please feel free, because this is something, this is at the heart. Unless we know how to write proposals, then we really cannot get a chance to implement our ideas.
Exactly. So I can.
And also, I'm something that I'm very happy to see that about 170 participants right now. So those one of the disadvantages of this for the participants, especially, is they usually don't get to see. So please don't feel that you are alone. Visualize you are in an auditorium full of 170 people. And so it's a vibing thing. So please interact. I mean, whatever questions or concerns you have, certain thing, it doesn't have to be exactly a question that hits right on the bullseye, but let's go to get the discussion going. And all right. Yes, there are some questions, right, Shashwata?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Should I just start taking them, sir?
Yes, start.
I think it's better you get them. I'll answer to them. That's a better one. There are some questions in the chat box also.
Yes, let them raise hands and interaction, personal. Yes.
I think interaction is better. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, Mr. Debashish Das has a question. Could you please unmute him and allow him to ask his question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Debashish Das, please unmute yourself and ask your question to Dr. Datta, please. Mr. Das, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Mr. Devashish Das, please unmute your mic and please ask the question. Devashish Das. I think you have put your question in the chat box, and we are taking to that questions. So please ask your question here.
I think he's having some problem.
No, his mic is not working.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Should I take his question on his behalf?
Yes. Please, where is that question? You can.
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Devashish says that about the topic of logical fallacies. He's saying I'm a little confused about it. Can you please explain me once again by giving any example from hotel and hospitality background?
Yes, please proceed, Dr. Das.
No, what can I? Yeah, hotel and hospitality management. See, there are different subjects and everything is different. I mean, all of you who are here are from different domains and different subjects. Am I right? Okay. Now, hotel and hospitality have their own problems, have their own, constraints. I am not so sure about what type of fundings you get under that domain. But if there are any, that it should be related to, to your subject. What are the problems you face in a hotel or hospitality, management? Maybe more related to the management of your place or of your work. So that should be very practical. The practical experience which you face in your place or in your day-to-day work, or that should be there. I mean, that should be highlighted in the grant application, because this is based on grant application, this talk. So if it is a say now, so since you are in the hotel management background, you have that sort of background, the hospitality background. So you just realize what type of problems you face daily in your workplace, and then but see, writing a grant application and the problems or the practical things which you are doing is completely different. The grantors have a definite set of objectives that should be similar to your problems you are facing in your domain. It should go with that. Then only you can start writing your grant application.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope Mr. Das, he got his answer. Now,
I think Ritesh Hajra has a question, 2 questions. You might want to, in the question.
Mr. Kumar, please, can you unmute? Can you bring Mr. Ritesh Hajra? He has got 2 questions.
Yes.
Mr. Hajra, please unmute your mic and ask Dr. Datta your question.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Hajra, you're audible.
Yes. Good morning, madam. I actually have 2 questions which I have put in the question answer section, and I'll just ask them directly now. So the first query I have is that during the applying for sanction or grant in research field for funding, do the reviewers usually check the academic background of the applicants?
Yes, that is
the first question.
That is the first thing we usually do. Academic background in the sense whether you have, like, see, we set all the funding agencies, they set a criteria, eligibility criteria. Everywhere in every funding application, you will see there is a eligible criteria, whether he is a graduate or not. Only graduation, that's it. It's not the marks. Understood?
Okay.
Whether he is a graduate or not, he's a postgraduate or not, or he should be a PhD, or working in a specific type of specific domain, say ICT domain, or say drug delivery domain. So these domains are very specific in any funding agencies. You understand? So what is the recent trend now? You must be aware of the news which are coming out now. The main thing is the vaccine development. Am I right? So vaccine development is going all around the world, and one of the main funder is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Gates Foundation is one of the main funders who are funding at least 7 to 8, I think 7 to 8 vaccine development, they are associated with that. Now, why they are funding it? You see, because there's a common problem, and this funding agency always work for the development of a community, for the community, for the public health research. Mainly, if you go through the Gates Foundation's funding sections, you will see they always have a direct implications on the population. So there, what are the criteria? Eligible criteria will be different. The person should have a, experience in, say, pharmacology, should have a experience in previous biochemistry, or a development of certain type of vaccine earlier related to some other disease. These are the eligibility criteria which should be there. So academic is something which is, which comes, which is also there for early stage funders, but it can be graduate, postgraduate, PhD, that sort of degree. That's what is there.
Okay,
What is it?
Thank you, madam, for the
Yeah.
clarification. Okay, so I'll ask the second question. It is about that I am in the engineering field. So currently, this is almost a very competitive field in which for also research purposes. So in that case, what point should I watch out for if I am applying for the grant, and assuming that there may be more applicants from the same field of work?
That I told you that my whole research, my whole talk was on it. So what is your field of engineering? Which field you are in?
It is mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. So you are working on mechanical engineering. Then you have a subdomain also. Your research interest must be in something. What is it?
Yes.
What is it? I mean, where?
Yes, actually, I haven't started the PhD yet, but my master degree was in production engineering.
Production engineering. So you have to look for fundings which are related to production engineering. You should be very specific about it. Unless you are specifically applying for a subdomain of grants, it's very difficult to get the grant. It's very difficult because there is too much competition. And whatever production, whatever research you are doing,
Yes.
it has to be a unique idea. It cannot be something which is already done before, or which is an extension of some previous work. It should be something which is new, which will add to your subject, something new, and it should have a if it is a product or something, it should have an industrial or commercial implication, or some policy implication. Okay.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, can you please bring Mr. Abhimanyu Bandyopadhyay? He has got a question which you would like to ask. Yes, Mr. Bandyopadhyay. Yes, Mr. Bandyopadhyay, you're audible. Hello?
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'll just read out my question. Actually, ma'am, I'm a final year PhD student under MAKAUT at Heritage Institute of Technology. My subject is bioinformatics, and I use applied GPU computing for my work. My research is purely interest driven, and during its progress, the hardware that was required for carrying out the experiments gradually went beyond the scope of my academic lab. So I decided to set up my own independent laboratory with the help of an online fundraiser and my own savings. I've also been working like a work from home model based open source based firm since a year, and my laboratory is also registered with them as an official workplace. I'm awaiting the completion of my PhD so that I can completely focus on my own projects at my lab. I have submitted my pre-thesis in February and awaiting further feedback from my university. My query is basically, do open source models have better preference in terms of receiving funding when compared to proprietary ones? Please provide any relevant suggestions and I'd be very grateful. Thanks a lot for this wonderful lecture, ma'am.
No, it's like exactly open source. What are the data? What are your sources? What are the sources from where you are getting data?
Okay, ma'am.
What are the sources from where you are getting data? This data which you are using,
Yes.
it is open source. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
So,
ma'am, the software which I'm developing is also open source. For my PhD work, that is also open source.
So that should not be any problem unless until what you are doing in your PhD work is that the objectives and the what are the objectives of your PhD work. That
Yes,
is most important. For example, so many people does in social science, they do work with the help of secondary data. Similarly, you are doing you are taking open source data and using it for your PhD work. Am I right?
Yes.
Can I interject here?
Yes, please.
Abhimanyu Bandyopadhyay, are you
Yes.
trying to say that you are using an open source software to analyze your data?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is the primary.
Okay, so
I'm
it is
also
the
developing
he's
it also.
using an open source software.
Software. Okay,
Now the
I
data
got
is
it.
coming from where? What kind of data are you analyzing? Are you collecting? Is there any data, or are you doing some modeling, some theoretical?
The modeling, sir. Mostly modeling. I'm developing the software as well, sir.
Oh,
You are developing a software. Now, what is the objective of the software? What is the software going to do?
So it is based on modeling microbial biofilms.
Okay, so basically you are trying to develop a software solution, a tool for modeling microbial biofilm.
Yes, sir. Mostly
There none such exist at this moment.
Sorry, sir.
Is there anything like that similar to this thing that is available now in the market?
Yes, actually, it is completely open source, and the community is very
No.
small.
Yes.
The people who use it.
Yes, but using the open source means there is a community, open source, there is a software available.
Yes.
Now, using the software, what are you doing? What are you making? That is our question.
So primarily, I work on understanding how Staphylococcus aureus works in terms of multicellularity, and how we can understand the growth of the.
Let us say you have that understanding.
Yes.
Now, how is that understanding going to benefit the society?
So basically, it is the model is we are able to predict different kinds of scenarios where we can understand how the.
I realize. You see, I am trying to guide you to figuring out what. There is a financing agency or a funding agency. They are going to, what is the objective? Let us say I'm a member of that funding agency.
Yes, sir.
Now I have to see a trust. Madam mentioned about the trusts. Let us say this Wellcome Trust or Bill and Melinda Gates Trust.
Yes, sir.
Now they would like to do certain things. For example, Bill and Melinda Gates Trust funds a lot. They have done a lot of funding for eradication of malaria.
Yes, sir.
So similarly, let us say once your understanding, you're using your software tool, your understanding the modeling and the understanding of Staphylococcus is done. How is that going to benefit society at large? Who is it going to benefit? Who would be the beneficiary?
So basically, the bioinformatics softwares, the people, the bioinformatics.
You see, you have to tell basic. There needs to be that you need to dig deep a little bit, and bioinformatics software. If somebody understands, yes, but is that going to be a benefit to pharmacy people? I mean, the new drug is going to be delivered or what? So that is what the impact of your. Think about the societal impact of your research.
Yes, sir. In terms of society, if we think, sir, the computational biologists who are a bit lesser, they are a bit less tech savvy. So I've developed a model which will make it easier for them to use.
Okay, so you're that way. Basically, your solution is a more user friendly.
Yes, sir.
Development of a user friendly tool for modeling the behavior of Staphylococcus. You have to phrase it properly, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have to be, we have been doing this. This is our 4th day. So we had sessions where Dr. Shanmugan's lecture was there, that the title, what is the purpose of your research?
Yes.
You see, we had to discuss last 4 or 5 minutes to get to the objective. So your objective, the benefit perhaps, as I gather at this moment, is being able to develop a user-friendly tool.
Yes, sir.
For, okay.
So in its current state,
now, Dr. Datta, my expertise ends here. Now you take up from here and explain.
No. I got this. So you are developing this tool so that the people who are working in this field, it will be easier for them to predict the behavior of this particular type of bacteria. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. And it is not only limited to Staphylococcus, but any kind of
microorganisms.
Yeah, and originally it was developed by Tim Raj. It is called Cell Modeler, ma'am. So I've been developing it further to improve it and make it more user friendly. And currently in the public domain, ma'am, it is a bit more. It is very difficult to install I've seen many kinds of queries in the forum where students are telling that it is very difficult to install it and there are many problems. So I developed it further and made the design more user friendly.
So that will be your outcome. That will be your main thrust or main, strength of your research. Yes. That you have developed a very user-friendly, a very good user-friendly, thing which can easily detect what. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to write down what.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who will be just like Professor Mazhar have said, who will be your end users? The people who are already working in this field, or the doctors, or the lab technicians, laboratories? Who are the people?
Mostly the bioinformaticians.
Yes, bioinformaticians. Yes. So they can understand the behavior of the particular type of microorganisms. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And that will again depend upon different places.
Yes, ma'am.
Which place they are into and what type of strain it is. Strain will also be different for different microorganisms.
Yes,
the strain may mutate, it may get changed.
Yes.
So you have to keep all these things in mind before you do the, I think you are applying some algorithm in it or something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So that data should be there. So it's a good thing, but then you have to again see whether similar type of things exist in the market or not. It exists in the research, in your research domain or not.
Actually, ma'am, if we see the proprietary alternatives, those are not open source, and we cannot really see the code inside them, how it works actually. So I think maybe open source creates more trust within the public.
But the other thing is that the open source can be easily replicated also.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
The open source can be easily replicated also. So then immediately try to patent your thing.
Yes, ma'am.
That is very important. That this thing belongs to only you. Otherwise, anybody can replicate at any moment because it's open source.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. And basically, it is using on custom open source license. So we are using the license also, modified the license also, so that the part of the work which I have done, I have created the copyright also in the modified license.
So you have copyrighted it, and then just go through the legal things how you can protect it further, so that your property, your whatever you are doing, it should be with you only. Nobody can take it away from you. Otherwise, somebody else can make the similar type of thing and use it in the saying that it's my product, I made this. Then it will become a problem for you.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think Dr. Reena Rani Rai has a question. Please.
Yes, sir.
Invite her.
Please invite Ray, madam. She has a question. Mr. Kumar.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
We are listening.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Datta for her illustrious lecture. I have a question. I'm going to apply for a project, and during filling up the form, that is their prescribed format, I have found that it is given the details of the manpower available. I have to mention that, and they have written PhDs, engineers, scientists, postgraduates, etc. So what name should I give there? Because these people are, yes, in my group, but they are not going to act as a co-PI for this particular project. So I have one doctor friend or some engineer friends, they used to help me.
No, they cannot be your manpower. Those who are helping you, they are all your collaborators. They cannot be your manpower. Manpower means those whom you are hiring, say, for running certain experiments, who will be running your experiments, who will be gathering your data, who will be doing your analysis, say statistical analysis. They will be your manpower.
Actually, they will be my co-PI. So what's the difference between this manpower and the co-PI?
Manpower will be only the person who will work under you and will be paid as a salary to them per month.
Like that is project assistants and that sort of stuff, right?
No, project assistant is their scope are different, because project assistant or reps, they're different. But PhDs, engineers, scientists. So what should I write there? I cannot understand. It's a bit confusing.
No, manpower in the sense, what is this project all about? The grant all about?
It's regarding some food processing.
Okay,
Ministry of Food Processing, right?
Okay, so you are applying on that, and then what is the experiment involved in it? Is there any?
Of course, some application of some microbes for food preservation and food processing.
Okay, and who will be doing it?
Actually, me, my co-PI, and also my student, that is a scholar I'm going to appoint.
So they are already getting their money. These scholars, they have their fellowships.
No, they will be getting, because I am going to approach. No, it is not being written right now. I am going to write.
So then fellowship, as fellowship, they can be one of your manpower.
Yeah.
Or fellowship, that can be one who will be performing those experiments. And who else? Throughout the proposal, you have to think how many people you need to carry on your experiments.
Actually, the principal investigator, co-investigator, and the research assistant and JRF. These are 4 people.
So if the JRF, he is a JRF, then JRF must be getting some stipend. Am I right?
Of course.
So then he cannot be again enrolled for some, proposal. You cannot pay him again extra.
So these people are not my manpowers, isn't it?
Yes, they are not your manpower. They are not your manpower.
Okay.
If you are hiring someone who is trained in a particular type of domain which is needed for your experiment, say to measure the shelf life of certain food, if you are doing so, then
Madam, they are asking total science and technology S&T manpower in the R&D unit. This is what they are asking.
Then if you are hiring somebody for your experiment, that will be your manpower, not the ones who are already there. They are all your collaborators and your students.
Okay, then I have to leave them nil, no, because I'm not going to hire anyone from outside.
If you want to hire someone and you think that, okay, I need somebody to do some special type of work, then you can hire somebody and you put out, you think of some salary, what you want to pay to that person per month, and then you start doing it. You can do that. But in case of a student who is already a JRF or SRF and getting a regular stipend, it can be an institute's, ethical problem that already the person is getting, and then again you are paying him or her for
it is not possible.
Yes. That should be, that should be a clear. There should be a clear indication.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, Mr. Thakre, Milind G. Thakre, he has got a problem. He has got 2 questions. Can you please ask him to come up and say his question?
Yes, sir. Mr. Milind Thakre, please unmute your mic and please ask the question. Yes, please, you can ask the question. We can hear your voice.
Hello, madam.
Hello.
Hello. My question was, can't the grants be received without using any tricks? Don't they consider plain and clear-cut proposals?
They will always do that, but then there are things which we want to understand about the person who is applying for grants. And that's the reason we give all this, we want all the details. Like suppose you're clear-cut writing, you give a paragraph that you want to do this. So then how will you understand how we will do it? What is the timeline you need for doing that? What is your background? So without knowing your background, how can we give you a huge amount of money to you? You know, that is the reason every grant has a structured application form, so that we go through each and every detail and understand the whole thing of that person or the applicant before committing into something. And tricks means not tricks here, you know, tricks are not the type of tricks or something like hawala. It's not like that. It is
Thank you for clarifying it.
Yeah, it's not hawala. It's like, you know, you have to think of writing in such a way so that the grantor is you know, happy or get satisfied to see your application form, and then decide for the further evaluation if there are other stages of evaluation.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, we have got one last question. I'll just tell you the name. Mr. Kumar, please ask Mr. Shantanu Mollik to take his question. Hello, Mr. Mallik. Please unmute your microphone. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I am audible?
Yes, Mr.
Yes, you're
audible. Madam, thank you, madam, for your lecture. And my question is that when I am submitting some journal, they are taking that that there must be a checklist. What documents have added in the checklist?
For journals?
For journals. Madam, it is not the part of this.
No, it's okay. For grant writing or for journals also, it's okay. You can ask me. That is not a problem. See, each journals have their own structure and own needs and own you know, requirements. It again differs between journals. So what is your field, your background?
Madam, control system.
Okay.
Electrical.
Control system. Okay. And now this journal, this is an Indian journal or international journal?
International journal.
So checklist means what type of checklist they are asking for? They must have mentioned it to you.
Madam, they are just the Times Roman, that is 12 font, figures should be some pixel like that. But
so that is the, so you have to do that. Like there is a design, there is a style for each and every journal, which was already discussed in my last, in our last, talk. Like each journal have their specific type of format, specific type of reference, and you have to go through that thing. And then the checklist is that whether you have fulfilled all those questions or not, whether it's Times Roman, whether it's 12 font, whether the journals are in the proper size or not, proper format or not, which format they are asking for. The second thing, whether they are asking for keywords or not, what will be the structure of your paper. So these are the things you have to, these are the checklists which you have to see before you submit the paper.
Okay, madam. But madam, there would be some attachment. I have to attach some documents. Unless, miss, there will be some documents. Means I am telling that I am a writing that I have checked all the documents, then I have uploaded a checklist. But I do not know that what information should be added in the checklist. Means I have checklist.
No, what
I have to.
You tell me what was written in the checklist. You tell me, then only I can understand what exactly you.
Madam, Times Romans. First thing, another is that something the figure pixels should be minimized like that.
Yes.
You should omit the name of your name as well as the guide or co-guide in the main manuscript like that. And reference will be like this style. Okay. Acknowledgement. If there is a funding agent, you have to mention that.
Yes. So these
like
are the
that.
common things which every journal asks for. I think what you're uploading is that with that type of resolution, you have to upload the figures. Separately. Maybe the figures which you are giving in your journal, maybe they want that to be uploaded separately. Many journal asks for that. Because of the resolution problem, they want it separately. Even sometimes they ask to upload the tables separately. Tables, all the tables which you are giving.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So this must be they must be asking about this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, please allow Ms. Lina Jadhav to ask her question.
Yes,
Hello.
it is allowed, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my topic is to study like Internet of Things, how to use Internet of Things for employee safety. But I could not narrow down that topic. So I want suggestions for that.
Employment safety in which field? Because employment can be in any field.
Yes, basically mainly for worker safety in construction area.
In the construction area. So what are the internets of things you will be looking into for their safety?
Like helmet is there, then there are different sensors they are using for measuring temperature and other things, but they are already exist. So like suppose if I do another model like as a chair or like that for construction, like normally the construction people using that particular chair while working. So can I invent like design a new model, or I'm confused in that only.
See, I'm still not able to understand what exactly you want to do in a so you let's start like this. In a we go to a construction site, and there people are working. Okay, people are working in different stages. Some are making the outer part of the building. Some are sending things to the top floor by sitting on a what do you call that, as a crane or something. Someone is measuring the type of soil which is under the ground or something. So now Internet of Things which are used for safety means what? Each and everybody who will be working there should be safe. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to? Because Internet of Things means, it's a very powerful word. So choose the word before you actually use it. The title of your thesis or the title of your grant or title itself is very important. Choose the words very carefully. You can simply write that some things, safety of construction workers, some in-depth understanding and recommendations.
Acha, okay.
If you add internet, then you have to apply, you have to think of something which is related to internet, which is related to AI, ML. You want to apply AI, ML for the whole thing?
No.
Are you applying AI, ML?
No, ma'am.
No, then you cannot write Internet of Things there.
Okay.
If you are applying AI, ML, which will be detecting, okay, this worker is in danger, this worker is just not safe while he is handling things. So then Internet of Things comes. Okay. So just be very careful when you are picking up words for your title. When you are picking the title of your proposal.
Okay. So like suppose if I narrow down only like a construction area, like in that also again I have to divide the work. Like those who are working for some like only the related groundwork or inside or outside, accordingly also I have to decide.
No, you go according to stage. Why don't you start according to stage? From digging the soil for the base till the end of the building, when the building is completely constructed and you have everything inside the building.
Okay.
You can start like that.
Okay, ma'am.
So in each step there will be different sort of challenges. Am I right?
Yes.
Sometimes if the base is not strong, everything may fall down and the construction workers may get stuck inside that under the ground and may die. Many a times it happens. Many a times because the piling is not strong. When they do the piling and everything and the pillar construction, when it is not strong, these things can happen. So you can start from the first step to the last step.
Okay.
And see the different types of problems of the construction worker in different stages. And accordingly you can frame your work. It's just my idea. I don't know. You can add up to this.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. With your permission, may I just take one question from the mail? So question, how to cross-check if your proposal is in sync with the TRL?
TRL, I have given you the stages. TRL 1 and 2 are the idea stage. After the idea stage, you start working. That is 3, 4, 5 is your prototype development stage. And then again, your product is okay. Then it will go for validation, certification. That is another stage. So 1 to 9, there are different stages. Go through those stages and see where you are, what stage you are. So that will help you to understand at what stage you are, and then you ask for or you apply for grants which are in align with that stage.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kumar, will you please check if there is still anyone who wants to ask a question? Mr. Kumar, am I audible?
Yes, I'm looking at it, sir.
Okay.
I think there are none. Pretty much all the questions have been addressed by
yes,
Dr.
sir. Yes,
sir. So now we have come to the end of our session. Before we conclude the session, I request Professor Dr. Shukhendu Shomazdar, the chairman of our FDP, to please say a few words about the session in his own style. Sir, please.
Thank you. This has been quite a comprehensive session, comprehensive presentation touching upon all the relevant aspects of proposal preparation. And only someone like Dr. Datta, who has many years of experience immersed in this sort of work, could do a job like that. In summary, what I got my takeaway, one is originality. Originality is important, and in order to be, so that seeking the originality is crucial. And if I may use my own acronym, proposals have to be SMART, S-M-A-R-T, specific, exactly what you want to accomplish. The objective should be quite specific, not everything under the sun. And she has underscored it many, many times. So delimit or define the scope very, very focused way. M for measurable, it has to be measurable. Unless it can be the proposal or the project that you want to do, the progress cannot be measured in terms of its milestones and timelines, then it's vague. Achievable, something that you and your team are in a position to achieve. So that is one of the reasons why the funding authority wants to know about the team, wants to know about the background of the team members, that whether what I am proposing or I'm thinking is basically daydreaming or something I am capable of. I have a track record of achieving something similar, maybe in a smaller scale and related area. But so achievability is important. Then R for realistic. Often we think of proposals or problem. We invent problems. Somehow we come up with a solution beforehand, and then in order to fit the solution, we invent problems which are not really, nobody else in the world is facing. So it is better to be in reality, to get to the ground. And Dr. Datta pointed that out, for especially an advice to the faculty members, that come down to the ground and see, look around, embrace reality. So you will be able to, you would have a decent list of realistic problems. And at last, the T stands for time bound, having a very well-defined timeline.
Yes.
So these are, the proposals ought to be smart. And of course, there is going to be the budget aspect and all that, but that's secondary. This is the framework upon which good proposals are built upon. So this is my takeaway from the wonderful session by Dr. Rohini Datta. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So now we have come to the end of this session. I would sincerely like to thank Dr. Rohini Datta for generously sharing her time and her knowledge with us, with the teaching learning community. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Shukhendu Samajdar, the chairman of the FDP, and our team leader for inspiring us and for keeping us motivated with our work. I would also thank Dr. Indranil Mukherjee, sir, director of the School of Management Sciences, for his kind words. His appreciation, which he has generously lavished on us, has made us feel even more motivated, and that really matters very much to us, sir. I would also like to thank my seniors, Dr. Arijit Bagh and Mr. Sujoy Mitro, who have always guided young people like Shushanto sir and myself in every step while we organized this FDP. I'd also like to thank Mr. Gaurav Shom and my friend Mr. Shushanto Koyal. And I thank Dr. Dhanabal Kumaraswamy for giving us his valuable time and insights. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the participants of the session. It is because of your enthusiasm that we are able to conduct this program. Your enthusiasm keeps us moving, and it keeps us grounded and humbled too. So thank you. On that note, I would like to close the morning session for today. We have one more session in the afternoon from 2:30 p.m. Participants can join using the same link. So we'll be seeing you shortly. Thank you. That's all for now.
I would take take 30 seconds. I would first like to, it goes without saying perhaps, but our technical support team led by Mr. Prem Kumar.
Yes, sir.
And that there. Having said the thanks, I would like to advance apologies. I'm sure we are not doing everything right. There must be mistakes happening which are unnoticed, and even if noticed, they are pardoned. So please accept our apologies if there have been mistakes, and I'm sure there have been, but you can rest what we can say that those mistakes are unintended. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, sir, we are end of the session. So we will be back at 2:30 for the second session. And with the same link, participants can join the session 2. Thank you all. We are closing the session. Saswata sir, we are closing the session, sir.
Yes, Mr. Kumar.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you, sir.
much.
Thank you, sir.